Hello fellow crafters, Janine here, and today I'm going to show you my kind of Faux-bonichi or homemade planner, or you know, whatever you want to call it. I know everybody's kind of big into the planner craze, and what I found kind of funny about it is I've always been someone that kept a planner. It just honestly it didn't occur to me to decorate it and make it pretty. In my own way, I made it pretty with highlighters because that's kind of how I color coded and kept track of everything, and you will see I'm going to continue to do that because that's what works for me. But I like the idea of decorating it and making it prettier too. I just don't have a lot of supplies in that arena, so I'm basically going to use what I have because it is what I have, and what I have is a pretty nice little assortment of stamps and some fun inks. So that's what I'm going to use for now to decorate my planner. But let me go ahead and show you how I made it and kind of what my setup is. I did purchase this book, and it's basically just a large journal book. I want to say it was 160 pages, and I got it from Walmart, and it was under $10. It was $8.98 if I'm not mistaken. And it's pretty. You can see I really like it, and it's let me measure it out for you. I'm not really sure of the exact dimensions. I want to say it was 9 by 10, or no, that doesn't sound right either. Let's see. It is about 10 1/4 by 7.5 wide, which is a nice size. It's not too big, not too small. I think it's really just going to work for me. I've been using a binder up until this point in time, but that got to be a little bit too cumbersome, so I decided to go with this smaller one. And then when I saw this book, I just fell in love with it. I love the pinks and purples and the gold accents. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but that's a metallic gold accent in it. And then, oops, my phone number is right there. It says this book belongs to, and I did put my phone number, so if for some reason I lose it, somebody will know how to contact me to get it back to me. And then in the very front of the book, what I started with is my vision for the year spiritually, and some scriptures that really spoke to me about shaping my life and shaping my time. It came from Hebrews 12 verses 1 and 2. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne. And that really spoke to me about laying down the things that trip me up and that keep me bound in, I hate to say bad behavior, but just in, you know, kind of repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again that keep me from moving forward and accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish in life. And then I wrote kind of my spiritual goals for the year here, because I want that in the front. I want to be reminded of this every day, of what it is I'm trying, where it is I'm trying to go in my faith and my walk with God. And I felt like having this reminder in the beginning would be good to keep me grounded in that, and maybe show me where I need to make changes and adjustments. And then we get into the calendar portion. Now, the way I set my calendar portion up, and I will put a link, there's some resources for some free templates, and they are Excel templates, Microsoft Excel, but they were free for these monthly and weekly calendars. So I will put the link where you can find those below. But the way I wanted to do was kind of start off with a monthly overview, and then break it down week by week. And I just have a pretty metallic pink paper clip here to mark, you know, where I am in my calendar. And I like this, like I said, just for kind of a general overview of the more basic recurring events, and then the weekly gives me the place to put the more detailed events that are happening in our calendar, and the times and so forth, and schedules. And as you see, I've just really gotten started in it. But all I did was just made sure I printed those pages out size, because you can shrink them. So I did shrink them to the size that would fit in my pages in my book, and I used that with this Mod Podge paper adhesive, and it is specifically for adhering paper to paper, and it is matte, so if it goes outside the edges you don't see it. And I tell you what, I fell in love with this glue during this process so much. I mean, I used the entire bottle on this project, but I intend to purchase more because I can see that being very handy in card making. So I went ahead and just glued all these pages in, and yes, it was a little work and it took me a couple of days, but it was worth it to spend the time because now my calendar is entirely ready to go for the whole year. And it's all this written in as my son is a police officer, my oldest son, and so I already have his schedule mapped out for the year because his schedule is very weird and it can be hard to keep on top of, so this made it possible for me to always know when he's working, when he's available, and so forth. And then after I got through with putting all my calendar pages in, and this is why I wanted a planner that had more journaling pages, because I'm not somebody that's going to journal every single day, but I thought it would be nice to have these extra pages for doodling, for making lists. Maybe it might be a little art journal here and there, a little Bible journal here and there, or scripture art journal. It might be grocery list making, it might be, you know, basically it's there for whatever purpose I need, for taking notes, for writing things down, for like little remembrance notes, remember to do this, you know, so forth and so on. And I just got a set of stamps. Let me see if I can find those. That has the months. It was in my paper pumpkin kit, which I haven't worked on yet, but I will be getting to that here very shortly. Here it is. So I'm going to use these to kind of start off, you know, just kind of stamping, you know, the January at the beginning of each section, and then when we get into February, I'll stamp February at the beginning of that section, and so forth. But what I did at the very first part of this was my husband and I sat down and we made a list of our monthly budget with all of our bills and our income and our outlays, our tithes, our church and whatever, and the balance that was left over afterwards, which is what we have left for groceries, gas, and whatever else might come up during the month. And then the asterisk denoted where we have room for change if we needed to make some changes in our budget to make room for more or less or so forth. And then our needs, wants, and expectations of ourselves as a family for the year. And again, I wanted this to be kind of in the front of this note-taking section so that we can refer back to it often and see where we are. Are we staying on track with our budget? Are we staying on track with our goals as a family? If not, where do we need to make adjustments? So I wanted that to be in a prominent place where it would be remembered often. And then I have this is what's attached to the book, this little ribbon place marker. So that'll help me to keep track, you know, throughout my planner. So while I've got this open, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my January. Let me get okay, there's an acrylic block in this box. Let me pull it out. Here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing a little snowflake stamping because January is one of our coldest months of the year. So I just pulled out some snowflakes and some other designs to stamp in my January pages. So this will be January. Not that the 2016 is necessary, but I guess I could have put that on there. I tell you, these stamps stamp beautifully. These are Stampin' Up stamps. This is my first time using them, so you got to witness my first time using a Stampin' Up stamp, and it was beautiful. Let me go ahead and do a little row of some decorativeness and see how that looks. Now I'm just curious. just doing a little decorative row here. Oh, cute. I think we're gonna do that just a little bit more. There we go. And so now I know that my journaling, note-taking, list-making, whatever for January starts right here on this page. Let me go back to my January calendar. And I'm going to do some of that same. That. Like so. Then I'm going to carry that theme across my weekly pages. Because I just think it's cute. Like I said, since January and February, they're pretty close races to which one's our coldest month of the year, but they're pretty darn close. I like the idea of blue because it seemed like kind of an icy color. And a couple more times. And there's no reason I can't write right over this color in black ink and still be able to see it just fine. So I'll go ahead and put these back on here. And I think I'm going to take some of these. Oh, this is a new set I just got from May Made It, and I love it. It's her Be Still set, and it's got some beautiful scriptures on it and crosses. I think I'm going to go back to these pages and add some of that. It's just beautiful. I think I'm going to take this big ornate cross. About right there, I think. And this is just some brown ink by Memento. It's rich cocoa. I think I'm going to put it center. And this is to remind me to stay rooted in Jesus through the year. And let's see, I know I want to do one of these scriptures down here in this corner. I think I like this one. The Lord is my strength and my song, Psalm 118:14. I'm going to put that one down here. And I haven't conditioned these stamps yet, and because May stamps are great, and normally I don't really have to do a lot with them to get a good stamping result. And this book isn't exactly even either in surface. It's kind of wobbly because of all the stuff that's glued in. And then I think, because this is one that I get reminded of God Reminds me of this often because I have a tendency to fret and worry over things. So this one says, be still and know that I am God, Psalm 46:10. And I think sometimes I just really need to be reminded of that. So stamp that one right here. Constant reminder. And last one, because I just love it and I think it's so pretty, to remind me who is the master of all and who guides my path. And as long as I've got God on my side and He's got my back, I've got nothing to worry about. It says, if God be for us, who can be against? Romans 8:31. And that's going to go right there. Lovely. Okay, that's it for this page. I wish I had stamped that cross a little better. That's really my fault there. I might end up throughout the year coming back to this and putting more decoration in it, so I'm not going to go too crazy here. I want to leave some room for some more thought and some more creativity as the inspiration hits. But I'm going to go ahead and jump right in here. I'm going to do, this is the January, from the January Simon Says stamp card kit, and it's called Cute Snowflakes. And I just thought it would be really cute to go with my January pages. And like I said, with this blue that I'm stamping, I can write over it and still be able to see. And these snowflakes here are cute, but I really kind of like more of the traditional looking snowflakes like this one, and this one. To me, these will look an awful lot like flowers. So I'm going to do kind of a grouping on my stamping block here. I think I'm going to use a couple from one of May May's kits also. This one. Here it is. This one from May May called Snow Peeking. She had some really cute snowflakes in hers. Okay. Mix these up a little bit. Like so. And then from December Simon Says stamp, this was Gifts of Love. I like these little ones right here as kind of little fillers. Okay, I would say that is a snow flurry. I'm sorry, you probably weren't able to see me loading that my block up at all. I apologize. All right, let's make some snow happen. Some of them aren't stamping out that great, but that's okay. I'm really just kind of going for an impression. Anyway. It could be my configuration too. As well as the stamping surface, so there's no telling. Okay, now I want to go ahead and I think I'm just going to leave those on there for now. And is that it? Okay. I'm really busy on this page, but that's okay because along the way I might pick up some more stuff for embellishment to add to it. But I was kind of thinking I might like stamp out the whole page of every page, and I just decided that would be entirely too much. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and find a happy birthday stamp, a smaller one here. Let's see. Well, I guess I don't have a small one. Let's see. Got thank you and every other sentiment under the planet in a small form, but not happy birthday. It's the only one I have is here, and I think it's too long. Well, maybe not. Maybe I can make it work. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the other side of the block. And I'm going to continue with the blue. And I'm going to put this on the days of people in my life who have birthdays coming up. And it's going to help me to remember to make cards for them also. So, I don't think I have any this week, but next week, my son's best friend has a birthday on the 5th. So I want to make him a card. And my son has a birthday on the 11th. And my niece has a birthday on the 10th. And that's all I can think of for January. It's not a very busy month birthday wise. That's it. So that's as much as I've got for January right now. I know it's not very exciting compared to some of the planner videos out there, but hey, this is what I've got, so this is what I'm working with. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for hanging with me to the end. As always, I appreciate you guys. I'm so glad you were here with me, taking a look at my planner. Like I said, yes, gluing these pages in was a little bit of work, but it was worth it because the end result is a planner that is going to work for my purposes and the way that I use a planner. I hope maybe you gained some inspiration from this on some economical ways. The only thing I went out and purchased for this was the book and the glue. Everything else, you know, I got the template for the calendar for free. All the stamps and inks I already had. So, you know, I basically got a planner for less than $15. I want to say $13 total. And it's a custom planner. It works exactly the way I want it to work. So I hope this gave you some inspiration to go out and try this on your own. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And you have a very blessed day. Bye now.